We've been talking a little bit about cars recently. This one, this Ford vehicle I think it's the most expensive car Ford has ever made. It is $1 million car that Ford has made, of course, in a very small number. And it is the first time that they have released a car non-street legal. It's not a street legal car. There's a street legal version of it, but this version of the Ford GT is only for the track. So you spend $1 million just to drive this thing at the track. It's kind of wild. So it is the 45 GT MK2 S. It is priced at $1.2 million. It is capable of cornering loads of 2 Gs, which that doesn't mean much to me, and I'm sure many of you. The thing is going to be a wild ride, a roller coaster on the track, I'm certain. It's a race car, essentially. 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, topping out at 216 miles per hour, and other regulations stipulate that it is locked at around 500 horsepower, which doesn't sound like a ton, but this is not the one, Will. That's the old Ford GT. What you're looking for here is it's based on the 2017 Ford GT. There you go. That heritage right there is the same version, but that's the street version of the car, which already the price is going up substantially because they limit the numbers so much. And old versions of the Ford GT have actually accumulated value over time. They have a crazy fan base, so you can actually buy this car if they let you. That's right. You need to write a letter to buy one of these, and then the investment gathers value over time. It's one of the few cars, not one of the few cars, but there's a handful of cars where that happens, the GT being one of them. So the GT MK2 is a track day version of this car Will's showcasing, just the standard GT supercar. It's more powerful, better handling, but not street legal. It fits somewhere between a race car and a street car. It has crazy things like a water spray for the charge air cooler and a roof-mounted air intake. So crazy ways to try to cool the thing down. It's basically if you want to own your very own race car, essentially. But anyhow, the Ford GT, the first $1 million out the gate. Many of these go for more than $1 million. This Ford GT Heritage Edition, VIN number 001 that Will's showing, it at auction got $2.5 million at auction. But it wouldn't have been $1 million like the regular street legal Ford GT from Ford if they let you buy it. Isn't $1 million out the gate. They just gather value because of how limited they are. I think there's so the GT MK2 that I'm talking about here, the race car version, is limited to what, 1,300 cars? No, 45. Right, I said that earlier. 45 of this race car version. And then of the version that Will's showcasing, the street legal version of it, there's only 1,350. And production ends in 2022. So it's super limited, crazy aerodynamic race car. In the case of the regular Ford GT, you can drive on the street. And I don't know how rich you have to be to have your own weekend race car that you can't drive on the road. Because then think about this, Will. You have to have a truck to transport this car to the track.
Right.
Just for those temporary experiences. So you got the $1 million car. You got however much it costs to transport the thing. Did you just own a transport truck at that point? Just to go back and forth?
Oh, yeah.
So it's, it's pretty wild. But hey, man, people are out there. Mm-hmm. People are out there, and you know what? Have some fun, people. If you got $1.2 million for a race car that you can't drive to the racetrack, well done. Congrats.
I wonder what the maintenance is for it.
God, you don't even want to. You can't really put a lot of miles on these things either because they're so valuable. Mm-hmm. As you see in that auction, $2.5 million. Do you even drive it? Does it just go straight to your garage, to your museum? Does it go right to Jay Leno's garage and then sit there and then somebody polishes it every day? Maybe that's how it happens. Mm-hmm. It's like how I feel about those sneaker collections. Guys have 200 sneakers.
Yeah, they have it in a clear box.
It's just a warehouse now. You're not. Those aren't sneakers anymore. Yeah. Those are something else now.
Yeah, not even in display, I guess. Just in a warehouse, just waiting to collect more money.
That's what people have. Yeah, you're just holding on. You could be invested in anything at that point. You could be invested in gold bars
Yeah.
at that point. But at least in this case, if you're into it, if you're an enthusiast, you get to look at it, which is kind of cool, I guess. So Willie, if you're looking for a new car, Will, I put this story in there for you. I know you have a very discerning taste, and
It's on my list.
there you go. Okay, so just put it in there, do a little research.